See where the questions would come up. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ted Murmagos, and I am the Division Director here at the Division of Child Support Services. And I would like to welcome everyone to our Facebook Live event. We already have a few questions that have been posed to us, and there's some other information that I would like to share with all of you regarding some of the things that have been happening here in the state of Delaware. Again, I'm Ted Murmagos, and I'm the Division Director here in the state. I would like to talk to you a little bit about how we are handling things here at the Child Support Office and during the pandemic. And I want people to know first that all of our offices are open. We have 3 child support offices in the state of Delaware, and they are open, but there's a couple things that people need to know in order to have access to the child support office. First, we're asking that before you just come to one of our offices, that you contact us to schedule an appointment. And you can do that by a couple ways. One, you can call our customer service unit, and our customer service unit telephone numbers in the state of Delaware are in Newcastle 302-577-7171, and in Kent County it's area code 302-739-8299, and in Sussex County it's 302-856-5386. And what you would need to do is call our customer service unit at one of those numbers, and I'll make sure you have those numbers again, and make an appointment to come and actually come into one of our child support offices. Now, our customer service unit is a 20 child support specialist unit that answers telephone calls that come into our office. The child support specialists who work in our customer service unit are able to answer all types of questions about your child support situations. And the hope is that you could work with those child support specialists to examine what your concerns are and maybe avoid having to come to our child support office. But if they determine after your conversation that it's best that you come into the office, they'll actually work with you to schedule an actual appointment to physically come in and speak to a child support worker in person. And we're also asking that when you come to one of our offices, that you at a minimum have a mask. If you don't have a mask, we would be more than happy to provide a mask to you. And that you also check your temperature. And there's thermometers that are actually positioned on the walls in our 3 office waiting rooms, that you could just take your temperature before you actually see one of our workers. The other thing that we ask is that if you're just looking for like an account statement or to drop paperwork off, that you just certainly first try to work with our customer service unit and have them maybe send you one or fax you one rather than coming to our office. But we also want to let you know that we have ways that you can get certain documents from us by logging into our what we call our customer website. But before I talk to you about the customer website, the interactive website that customers can use to get certain documents, I want to assure people who are calling our customer service unit that we certainly work very diligently to answer your telephone calls in a timely fashion, and certainly there are situations where wait times become longer than at other times. From what I understand, wait times are usually longer between the hours of 12 noon and 2 p.m. each day, because that's usually when people are on their lunch breaks or whatever. And our customer service unit is most busy on Mondays. The other thing that's important to know is if you're on hold with our customer service unit longer than 25 minutes, it's probably best to hang up and call back in. We have the capabilities, and we often put into place that if the call volume or the call volume wait times become longer than 25 to 30 minutes, that we have an additional 30 telephone lines available, and other child support workers up and down the state will actually start to take phone calls to alleviate those wait times. So it's really important that our child support specialists are working very hard to take your telephone calls. They're working very hard to answer questions as thoroughly as possible. But sometimes those wait times can get a little long. But please rest assured that we are working very diligently to answer those calls as quickly as we possibly can and not leave people on hold for any kind of an extended period of time. But one of the things I always try to tell people is if you're on hold longer than 25 or 30 minutes, there may be a system or a computer telephone issue, and it's probably best to hang up and call back in. So let me give you those telephone numbers again. Our customer service unit telephone number in Newcastle County is 302-577-7171. In Kent County, it's area code 302-739-8299. And in Sussex County, it's area code 302-856-5386. And like I said, our customer service unit is available from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. But all three offices are open, but again, it's really by appointment only. If you do come in and you just need an account statement or something very quickly, we will try to accommodate you, but it's best that we try to resolve as many calls as we can, or as many inquiries as we can by telephone or by email or some other means, just to make sure that there is truly a reason for you to have to come to our child support office. The other thing I wanted to mention during the pandemic situation that we're all facing is that the family court, who we work closely with, as well as members of the public work closely with, in our way of establishing child support orders, in our way of working to enforce those court orders. The family court is also open, and they can help people resolve child support issues or custody issues or other visitation issues that they may be having. But it's also important, and I would recommend contacting the family court in advance of just showing up. They're pro se offices, the offices that are available to help people complete their filings and resolve different litigant related issues. Those offices are open, and they are willing to see you and help you manage your potential child support issues or other issues that you have with the court. So I just wanted to pass that information along to you also. One thing also about the court is it's very important that if you receive a notice about a mediation session or a family court commissioner's hearing, those hearings are still taking place at family court during the pandemic. Services such as commissioners' hearings and mediation sessions are being done electronically via a virtual meeting, via Zoom. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a video camera in order to participate. You can participate with those family court hearings by telephone. So if you get a notice from the family court that says there's a court hearing, and you haven't heard from the court about providing financial information in advance, you may want to check with the courts, because those hearings are actually taking place. And just like you would be summoned to come to court for a hearing, it's important that you make sure you resolve those issues. And if you get a notice, be prepared to take some time off. If you're working, take some time off in order to handle those court sessions. So I just wanted to let people know. And what we're doing at the Child Support Agency and the assistance of the Department of Justice, if you have a court hearing, you may be hearing from us by telephone. We are helping with the courts to reach out to people to let them know that there is a pending court hearing and that we would need some paperwork, or the Department of Justice would want to talk to you in advance of those court hearings, just to make sure that everyone's ready and prepared on the designated court day. So if this time is very, it's a very different situation than what we're all used to dealing with. And when you hear from our office or from the family court to a telephone number or an email address that we may have on file for you at the child support system, I'm just recommending to people, if you get a strange phone number on your cell phone, or you get an email from either from the Child Support Office or the Department of Justice, it's probably important to pick up that call and just to see if it's us trying to reach out to you. We are reaching out to litigants in advance of court hearings to make sure they know the court date and time, and to make sure that they turn in all paperwork in advance of that court hearing. The other two little things I wanted to talk about related to family court. The court right now, the pandemic hit Delaware like it's hit other states around the country, rather quickly. And both the courts and the Child Support Office, really had to react to a situation that we've never really dealt with before. And, one of the things that both the court and the Child Support Program understands is that a lot of Delawareans and a lot of people around the country have lost their employment opportunities. And, we certainly understand that there's a family court order in place that people have to pay their child support obligations. But I can tell you that if non-custodial parents have lost their employment due to the pandemic, or have been furloughed due to the pandemic, we're not, we at the Child Support Office are not, jumping to generate contempt petitions for people who are not paying their child support order. But what we would rather do is hear from non-custodial parents and hear from custodial parents about their particular situation, so that we can document it in the child support case record. And I know some custodial parents have contacted our Child Support Office, eager for us to file contempt petitions against non-custodial parents who are not making their child support order. But we really have had to look at the totality of the particular situation, and really kind of, we're all kind of in a crazy place right now, and to really generate a contempt petition against non-custodial parents who have lost their employment opportunity because of the pandemic, honestly, it just did not seem like the right thing to do in the early days of the pandemic. And as the economy in Delaware and the economies around the country start to open up again, certainly the expectation is that, and the hope is from us here at the Child Support Office, that people are going to be back to work and are going to start working again. So right now, and over the last 5 or 6 months, we really have not been filing contempt petitions with the family court, especially if a non-custodial parent lost his employment opportunity due to the pandemic. That does not mean that we are going to continue to not generate contempt petitions, in the future. At some point, we're going to have to start treating these non-payments on a case-by-case basis, talking to both custodial and non-custodial parents about the non-custodial parents' ability, the ability for them to pay that child support obligation. Right now, we at the Child Support Office, with the help of our attorneys at the Department of Justice, are primarily looking at how we work with families to modify existing court orders to really kind of deal with people who have lost their jobs or who have been furloughed due to the pandemic, and helping them modify their child support order. So the courts have been really kind of helping us work with modifications of existing child support orders to help really make sure that if the non-custodial parent has lost their employment opportunity, that their court order meets what their current life situation is. And they're helping establish new child support orders. So if a non-custodial parent and a custodial parent don't have a child support order, paternity has not been established for their children, the courts and the Department of Justice are working together with us here at the Child Support Office to help get child support orders in place. So to say right now and in the early days of the pandemic, child support was not, and we are continuing to not really generate a lot of contempt petitions for non-payment unless there is a specific situation that can be expressed to us at the Child Support Office and that we can talk to the Department of Justice about. As time progresses, we will start looking at non-payment of child support orders, but the thing that people have to remember is the non-custodial parent's ability to pay that child support obligation. And if they've lost employment, that's certainly a situation that would prevent us from really trying to file a contempt petition against that non-custodial parent. So just want people to keep that in mind. But like I mentioned, if there's a need to modify that child support order to make it fit what the current non-custodial parent's income is, we want to help people do that. And certainly if there's a new support order that needs to be done because the parties need child support, we certainly want to try to help custodial and non-custodial parents establish paternity, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about paternity in a little while, and get the folks in court to have a child support order established. So like I mentioned when we first started, for people who have just joined me, my name is Ted Murmagos, and I'm the Division Director here at the Division of Child Support Services in the state of Delaware. And I'll touch base a little bit more on some of the pandemic issues that I've talked about already, again, before we conclude. And I thought what I would do is go ahead and answer one question that we've already received through Facebook, and go ahead and provide you with an answer to one of those questions. So the first question that I've received already is, how long can a non-custodial parent go without paying? Before, and I'm assuming it's before the Child Support Office would, file a contempt petition or, take certain types of enforcement activities. So let me first say this. The Division of Child Support Services, under normal circumstances, I've already talked a little bit about how we're treating non-payment of child support during the pandemic, specifically if someone has lost their employment opportunities. One of the things that, under normal circumstances, one of the things that's always important is that if a non-custodial parent, this Facebook Live is obviously to provide custodial parents with information, but I find this is a great opportunity to share child support information with non-custodial parents. So one of the things that's always important when someone is not paying their child support order, and the question is how long would we go before we take any action? That really is a wide open question because certain things happen at certain stages of the game here. But let me say this: for non-custodial parents, if you are not paying your child support, and if you can't afford to pay your child support as what the courts have ordered, one of the things I always suggest to people is this: is to pay what you can pay, and pay it consistently, and then try to get into family court to modify your obligation. So non-custodial parents, don't think and say, hey, I haven't been, if you are a non-custodial parent who has not paid for months or years, there's never a wrong time to start making a payment. So I always say to non-custodial parents, pay what you can pay what you can pay consistently. If you can pay it every week, pay it every week. If you can pay it once a month, pay it once a month, but pay it every month. so that there's a track record that you can demonstrate to the family court, that you can demonstrate to the custodial parent that I want to try to make a difference in my child's life. I want to try to pay something. It's never the wrong time to start paying a child support order. If you're fearful to come to, if you're a non-custodial parent still and you're fearful to come to the child support office because you think that there's a state police is waiting for you, if you have a CAPIAS, you should never fear that. You should always try to, in these pandemic times, call us first. And if you think you need to come and see us, our child support worker will direct you on a time and place to come and see us. But if you should never fear contacting the child support office here in the state of Delaware or anywhere around the country, because we want to help you pay your child support order. Don't ever think that you're going to be arrested. Even if you have a family court CAPIAS, if you come to a child support office, I will assure you there will never be a state trooper here waiting to pick you up. So feel free, if you're a non-custodial parent, to always reach out to us because we want to help you make consistent child support payments. The other thing is, our child support system is a extremely potent and powerful child support system. If you fail to make child support payments, certain things can happen without any human intervention. For instance, we can, suspend driver's licenses. We can intercept taxes. We can submit people to credit bureaus. That stuff is happening all the time with our computer system when people reach certain arrears thresholds. When they, like for a license suspension in the state of Delaware, if you reach an arrears balance of $3,500 and you haven't made a payment in 30 days, the license suspension process is already starting. And the system automatically does things that will trigger certain events to happen. So it's important to make those payments on a consistent basis because that child support system will take certain actions without any human intervention. But the question is, how long does it take before a person doesn't make payments? So we talk about certain enforcement tools. Those things will happen at different stages without a payment. But under normal circumstances, not during the pandemic, things are a little different with non-payments. But if a non-custodial parent has not made a payment in 30 calendar days, the expectation is child support workers here will try to figure out what's going on. Contact custodial parents, contact non-custodial parents by telephone or in writing to find out why the payments have stopped or why we haven't gotten those payments, and determine if they can reach out and get a hold of people. If there is not a valid reason why the payments have stopped, our worker would go ahead and could generate a contempt petition. That's very important. After 30 days, 30 calendar days of no payment. We always like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt, so we're not wasting people's time on having to go to family court to find out why those payments have stopped. But if there's no way to find out that information and no one is forthcoming, our child support specialist can generate a contempt petition with the family court with no payment. The other thing is for non-custodial parents to know, if you change employment or if you get a new place of employment, it's so important to contact the child support office and tell us where you're working because we want to be able to send a wage withholding to your employer. In the state of Delaware, about 99.99% of the court orders that come out of family court will say that a wage withholding has to be issued to an employer. So anytime you change employment or you get a new job, it's always important to check with your non-custodial parents, to check with your payroll company, and to contact child support to make sure we can send a wage withholding to your employer so that those deductions can come out of your paycheck. But there's always a little bit of time before the wage payment starts coming out of your employer's, out of your paycheck. And it's really you as a non-custodial parent's responsibility when you get paid to make a payment on your own to child support. Our address to where to mail those payments are in every court order that comes out of family court here in the state of Delaware. and that will tell you where to mail those payments. So it's very important. So just to kind of summarize the answer to this question, because I know it's kind of all over the place. Non-custodial parents, always make a payment if you don't see it coming out of your paycheck. Always call child support when you get a new job, and give us your employer information so we can issue a wage withholding to your employer. If you can't, non-custodial parents, if you can't pay the full amount, pay something and pay it consistently. To show the custodial parent, show your child, show the family court that you're really trying to meet that child support obligation. For custodial parents, if there's no payment in 30 days, we certainly want to hear from you. 30 calendar days in the normal time. Right now, the courts and the child support agency are really reviewing requests for contempt petitions, where we are reviewing them very closely to make sure that it's not pandemic related, that we can maybe reach out to non-custodial parents and find out what their circumstances are, and really we are going over those requests for contempt petitions right now. We're reviewing them very closely, because right now this is a different time and just a different way of dealing with child support here in the state of Delaware. We certainly understand, we certainly understand that child support things are tough, and we are always, this is a plug for our Facebook page, we are always putting information on our Facebook page about employment opportunities for custodial and non-custodial parents in the state of Delaware. We are always putting information on our Facebook page about resources, community resources that are available in all 3 counties to help custodial and non-custodial parents who are struggling during this pandemic. So please, come to our Facebook page and share our Facebook page. It's not just for child support, custodial and non-custodial parents. You can share them with your family, with your friends. Share them with people who you think may be able to have some use of those resources. You don't have to be a non-custodial parent to go and apply for a job that we're posting on our Facebook page. So please feel free to share that information with anyone you would like to share that with. So I wanted to talk a little bit, and then I got a couple more questions I'm going to try and get through, because I see we're almost done with this. We're halfway through almost of the Facebook Live event. I wanted to remind people, in the state of Delaware, we send child support payments out to custodial parents in 3 ways. The first is by, and the first 2 are preferred methods. The first is by direct deposit. And we want people, and we have a 1-page application for people to fill out if they want to receive, the custodial parents want to receive their payments by direct deposit into a credit union or a bank account. And we also have our U.S. bank issued Relia card. And we have a 1-page simple application for people to fill out. If you actually in the state of Delaware, you are required to sign up for the electronic version, either direct deposit or the U.S. Bank Relia card. And we have a 1-page application for you to fill out in order to sign up for either of those 2 options. And one of the things that I've been asked to remind people, it's so important that when you fill out that 1-page application and you list your address, the address that you list on your application has to match the mailing address that we currently have in our child support system. So if you've moved, and this is important for everybody, non-custodial parents and custodial parents, if you have moved, it's so important that you update the child support office here in Delaware and the family court that you have a new mailing address. And normally what we do, if you update us here at child support, we will let the family court know also. But your address on your Relia card or your direct deposit account application has to match the address that we have in our child support computer system. If it doesn't match, you also would need to provide us, we can give you a form to fill out, a change of address form that you can fill out and attach a picture of your driver's license to verify your mailing address, and we will go ahead and we will go ahead and update the child support system, as well as let the family court know that you have a new address. But if they don't match, we have to get in touch with you to make sure we got your good mailing address in our child support system. The third way that we mail child support payments to custodial parents is the archaic way. We still do issue a handful of child support checks, but that's really for individuals who are unable to get a bank account or a Relia card, and or are really only maybe getting one or two or three checks a year, maybe from a tax intercept that we receive, or other kind of a lump sum payment that we receive. So it's really important for custodial parents. The key of that whole thing was, if you got a new address, we need to know it here at Child Support, and we would be more than happy to send you a change of address form in order to make sure that you update your address with the Child Support Office. So I'm going to go ahead and look at another question. So the next question is, why aren't there stricter consequences for non-custodial parents who refuse to pay? Refusing to also get a job so that their wages can be attached. You know, the key to this question really is refusing to pay. You know, quite honestly, you know, I've talked to a lot of non-custodial parents, and really there is obviously there's a handful of non-custodial parents who really truly refuse to pay. And between the Child Support Office and situations that occur at family court, over time the only thing that does is make matters worse for the non-custodial parent. In the state of Delaware, obviously, like in other states around the country, incarceration can occur at family court for non-custodial parents who refuse to pay, continuously refuse to pay year after year. I can tell you this, in the state of Delaware, that is a last resort. Over many years, you know, years ago, the courts maybe were incarcerating more and more individuals for non-payment of their child support order, but that has significantly gone down over the years, because we want to make sure, and we're working with the family court to make sure that non-custodial parents are really given an opportunity to comply with their child support orders before they're incarcerated. And really the courts only will truly incarcerate non-custodial parents who continue to not follow court orders over and over and over again. And in some cases, the courts are more lenient than others, and in other times they will not take the non-custodial parents' continued skirting of the child support obligation. We here in the state of Delaware, as I kind of mentioned already, we have many enforcement tools. Some of them are automatically happening in our child support system without any human intervention. And, you know, those are things like intercepting a non-custodial parent's federal or state income tax refund. If they're going to be getting a refund, we will intercept those refunds to pay child support arrears. Most recently, the federal government issued stimulus checks to Delaware residents, and those stimulus checks were intercepted to pay child support arrearages. And in many cases, they paid off arrears that were owed by non-custodial parents, and in some cases they didn't make much of a dent, but those were payments that came in without anybody saying, we want to, you know, go after this guy. Those payments were automatically sent to the Child Support Office from the IRS. You know, our license suspension program in the state of Delaware, we can suspend a driver's license, we can suspend a professional license, a business license, and we suspend hunting and fishing licenses here in the state. You wouldn't believe how many people, once their fishing license or their hunting license has been suspended, come in and will make a lump sum payment to get their license back. And those things happen without our office, the worker doing anything, like I mentioned earlier. If someone's in arrears of $3,500 and they haven't made a payment in 30 days, it automatically puts them in the license suspension process. And we will go ahead and suspend their license. In the state of Delaware, and this is another question I got through Facebook, in the state of Delaware, in order to get a license back, that we let me tell you the whole process. If someone is in arrears of $3,500 or more and hasn't made a payment in 30 days, we send the non-custodial parent a letter. That letter is called a notice of intent, that we are going to take an action to suspend their driver's license or their business license or a professional or hunting and fishing license. I always encourage non-custodial parents, if you get a letter from the Child Support Office, don't ever just throw that letter away. Don't put it aside. Oftentimes I'm on the radio and answering calls from non-custodial parents, or I'm going into correctional centers in the state of Delaware, and I tell non-custodial parents, don't ever not open a letter from the Child Support Office. We want to work with you to resolve your child support issues. So if we're going to suspend your driver's license, before we take an action, we send the non-custodial parent a letter, and it says, contact us at the Child Support Office within 20 days after receiving this letter and work with us, and we will work with you to get your license back. In order, the policy is, if you get a hold of us within 20 days of getting that letter, we will ask you to make a lump sum payment worth 2 months of your child support order to get that license reinstated. We often understand people need their especially their driver's license to get a job. They may have interviewed and they need their license to get that job. If that's, we want to work with people. So maybe you can't make a lump sum payment of 2 months, but maybe you can make a 1 month lump sum payment in addition to regular child support payments, in addition to telling us where you work so we can issue a wage withholding. We will work with you. But the key is, if you get that letter, don't avoid it. Call us. Because if you call us within that 20 days and you come in and you work with us, it's easier for the child support employees to give you your license back before we suspend it with a licensing agency. And then the non-custodial parent will avoid having to pay a fee at the DMV to get their license back. So the keys are really, when we talk about license suspension, if you want to get your license back, first contact us if you get that notice of intent. If you're a non-custodial parent and we don't have your right mailing address, you're not going to get that letter. So make sure we have a good mailing address. The key really is to work with us, and we will work with you to help you get that license reinstated. But it's so important, to get with us within that 20 days, so we don't send a notice to the DMV to suspend a license, or the Division of Revenue, or to DNREC to suspend those licenses. So you'll avoid having to pay those fees to that agency also. So one of the other questions I got was really about, how do I get my license back? That's the answer. Call us, and we will work with you to get your license back. But it's going to involve a lump sum payment of some kind. We certainly want you to pay the 2 months, but we understand that things are tough right now, and we will work with you to get your license back. The key is, we always need to know where you're going to be working, when you're working, so we can send a wage withholding to that employer to make those deductions. We will work with you. But for non-custodial parents who refuse to pay, we always want to work with people. So, certainly, there's consequences for people who continue to thumb their nose at the process and the family court. And the family court has the discretion to incarcerate, but we don't want that to happen. We would rather meet with non-custodial parents, go over their child support situation. And like I mentioned earlier, you haven't made payments in a year. What's wrong with starting today to make those payments and getting on a regular schedule to make those payments? it's better for everybody to start doing that and pay what you can pay until the courts can deal with a modifying of your specific child support obligation. One of the things I wanted to talk about that also kind of falls in line with our along with non-custodial parents, we have our Delaware Fatherhood Program. Our Delaware Fatherhood Program works to help non-custodial parents, and we will work with custodial parents also to find employment opportunities. And just because it's called the Delaware Fatherhood Program, it doesn't mean we don't help female non-custodial parents find employment. Female custodial parents, if you need a job, we want you to call the child support office, and we will help you find employment. Our Delaware Fatherhood Program works with an employment and training vendor who can help people find jobs with employers who are hiring right now. So if you need assistance with finding employment, we certainly want you to contact the child support office, and we will help you find employment opportunities. Another great resource is our Department of Labor. There's so many tools at the Department of Labor that people don't take advantage of, and we certainly want people to do that. So our Delaware Fatherhood Program can help you find training opportunities. We have connections with with organizations who are training people in fields that there's definitely a need for here in the state of Delaware. There's certified nursing assistants, trainers. There's flaggers that can get a certificate to be certified in being a flagger. And those employment opportunities, there's a very good wage associated with that. Truck driving, another thing that people can do. So certainly reach out to the child support office, and I'm going to give you those telephone numbers again. In Newcastle, it's 302-577-7171. In Kent County, it's 302-739-8299. In Sussex County, it's 302-856-5386. The other question I've just received is related to a PFA order. Will a PFA affect a 50-50 custody order? Unfortunately, here at the Child Support Office, we often hear questions about custody, visitation, and PFA orders, protection from abuse orders. Unfortunately, we are unable to really to talk about those issues. Our sole function really is about dealing with child support and helping custodial and non-custodial parents work together to get child support orders here in the state of Delaware. Questions about visitation, custody, protection from abuse orders are best to be handled by the family court. And I think I have a telephone number for the court that I can give you for help on that. But for our sole purposes here at Child Support, it's really about working on establishing child support orders and helping people get child support. So custody and PFA, it's really something that has to be handled at the family court. And you can certainly, if you go, this is probably a good opportunity for me to give you our website. And what I always try to tell people is if you need information about services here in the state of Delaware, it's always best to go to de.gov. And over to the right, there's a tab that's state agencies. You can always find all of the state agencies here in the state on that website, de.gov. And the family court is one of them. And their contact information is very good. And they can help you with PFAs, custodies, or visitation orders. The telephone number for family court in Newcastle County is 302-255-3600. 0300. And I want to give you our child support website, and then I'm going to answer another question that I've received from Facebook Live. So our child support website, there's awesome information on our website for custodial, non-custodial parents. If you are an employer in the state of Delaware, there's great information for employers on how to make payments to the child support office. And if I have some time, I will certainly talk about the 4 ways that employers and non-custodial parents can make payments here in Delaware. But our child support website is www, of course, .dhss.delaware.gov/DHSS/DCSS. That's for the Division of Child Support Services. And so one of the things let's see here, let's answer another question. One of the things I left off, and this was another question that I got, again, about license suspension. The question is, when a parent has their license suspended for failure to pay child support, why is there not notification to the custodial parent that it has occurred and when it's reinstated? So what I mentioned already was that non-custodial parents will get a notice of intent that we are going to take that action to suspend a license. What happens is, if the non-custodial parent doesn't react to that letter and doesn't come in and try to work with the child support office to resolve it, hopefully before we take that action to suspend it, our computer system, after that 20 days, I think there's a little bit of a window after the 20 days, our child support system, computer system, will automatically notice the Division of Revenue, the Division of Motor Vehicle, or DNREC that the child support office wants to suspend a license. It is at that time when we notice the licensing agency that we want to suspend a license, it's at that time that we will send the custodial parent a letter that says we have taken that action to suspend the license. So we do send notices to custodial parents, but it's only when we've taken that action. It's a client information letter that our computer system will automatically generate to the custodial parent that says we've taken that action. The other thing I want to talk about is we've already talked a little bit about calling customer service. If you have a question, a child support question, we have 20 child support specialists plus the opportunity to extend that 20 by another 30 to take your telephone calls related to your child support. They can hopefully resolve your inquiry over the phone. If they can't, they will help you schedule an appointment to come into the child support office. So that's one way to reach out to us, by our customer service unit telephone numbers. The second way is we have a customer website for custodial parents and non-custodial parents who have a child support case number that they can actually create a username and a password and actually log into our child support website and log into a child support website that will actually give them access to certain pieces of their child support case. For instance, say you need an account statement. You can actually print a child support account statement from home that reflects the payments that we've received and sent to custodial parents. You can actually send to us information about new employers or a new address electronically through that customer website. You can send a email, a quasi-email, or a question to your child support worker who will help you, can answer that question electronically. It's a good way to keep in touch with your child support worker, have direct access to your child support case, and print documents from home. So in order to register for the customer website, that's one piece. You can go to our website and there's valuable information on how to sign up for it. There's actually on our Facebook page a video that's called How to Sign Up for our Customer Website. And it's a step-by-step video that shows you how to enroll in the customer website. Now I'm going to tell you, the first time that you log into that website and create the username and the password, it can be a little cumbersome because you have to go through the state's firewall in order to do it. But once you do that and you create that username and password, it should be very simple to continue to log into that website to get that valuable information. And it's for custodial and non-custodial parents. So both of you can log in and obtain that information. The other piece of that is if you're new to the child support system and you want to create a case, a child support case here in the state of Delaware, you can also go to our website. And there's another piece of this, the customer website, that's called an application for services website. And you can actually complete the application for services online and submit that application to Delaware's Child Support Office electronically. Now there is a situation where you will need to provide us with some backup documents, but it's something that by logging in to that application for services website, you can actually submit the application and complete the application from home electronically on a computer system and submit it to us electronically. So we are encouraging people to look at these alternative ways of reaching out to child support, and that's one way that you can certainly do it. Both of those, like I said, on our Facebook page, there's videos, step-by-step instructions on how to log into the application for services website and our customer website. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew there's definitely ways to reach out to our child support office, and we certainly want people to take advantage of that. Let's see if there's another question here. Another question is, let's see. It's more of a statement, but I'd like to also address this a little bit. It says, make people get a job after being on state benefits for 2 years, and check the people that are living in their houses to see how many of those people may be getting welfare or TANF benefits, or maybe getting SNAP benefits here in the state of Delaware. So I wanted to let people know the Department of Health and Social Services, we are made up of 11 divisions. Other divisions that can help you are the Division of Social Services, and Child Support works closely with the Division of Social Services. We work closely with the Division of State Service Centers, and TANF benefits, temporary assistance to needy families, the SNAP program, which was formerly known as food stamps, are issued by the Division of Social Services. Medicaid is issued by the Division of Social Services, and we encourage people to reach out to the Division of Social Services if they are in need of help, and we work closely with them. The thing that child support recipients need to know is if you go and apply for TANF, temporary assistance to needy families, or Medicaid here in the state of Delaware for children, we are going to work closely with the Division of Social Services and custodial and non-custodial parents to get a child support order, or an order to make sure that if medical insurance coverage is available, that by an employer, that children, if available at a reasonable cost, are enrolled in that child support, either are enrolled in the medical insurance through an employer. But we work closely with other agencies within the Department of Health and Social Services, and we have direct relationships with the Division of State Service Centers and the Division of Social Services. We're really linked together, and we really try, this department really tries to help Delaware's residents find stability and to lift themselves up and really try to become self-sufficient. one of the things that's very important when we talk about new child support orders, I just mentioned we work closely with the Division of Social Services when someone is on TANF or Medicaid to get child support orders in place. No child support order here in the state of Delaware can be established without paternity for children being established. So I want to talk briefly about paternity being established here in the state of Delaware. It is very important that children born in Delaware have paternity established, that the child knows who their mom is, who their dad is, in same-sex couples, who their parents are. It's so important that parentage and paternity is established. So in the state of Delaware, paternity can be established in 3 ways. One way is by marriage. If the parties are married when the child is born, paternity is automatically established for that child. So if they're married and then they're divorced, that doesn't mean paternity goes away. Paternity is established because those parties are married. So that's the first way that paternity is established in the state of Delaware. For unwed couples in the state of Delaware, we have what we call the Voluntary Acknowledgement of Paternity Program. And that program is for when the mom obviously knows, hey, I'm the mother of that child. And the dad says, I know without a doubt that I'm the biological father of that child. And I want to voluntarily acknowledge paternity. So there is a form that we have at the child support offices that we can mail to you, and that are also located at vital statistics offices at the Division of Public Health in all 3 counties. We can send you a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity form, and both parents would notarize that form and submit it to the Office of Vital Statistics. And the Vital Statistics Office would automatically update the child's birth certificate with both parents' names. Now, both parents have to notarize that document, and we would do it for free at the child support office. Vital Statistics would do it for free at their office, and actually any state office would notarize that document for free. But we would definitely do it for free here at the child support office. And all you need to do is drop that document off at Vital Statistics, and they would automatically update your birth certificate, the child's birth certificate, with both parents' names, and give you a copy of that birth certificate. The third way of establishing paternity in the state of Delaware is through genetic testing. So if there's any doubt, I think I'm the biological father, I'm not quite sure, paternity, we at Child Support can ask our contractor, who is currently LabCorp, to do genetic testing. The family courts can ask or order that genetic testing be done at LabCorp. So it's very important that if there's any doubt, I'm not really sure if I'm the biological father, we will have the child or children, the mom and the dad, the alleged or the biological putative father, have genetic testing. If it comes back at 99.99%, the courts would adjudicate it in a court order and let Vital Statistics know that to add that person's name to the birth certificate, but it's through genetic testing. So in the state of Delaware, I'll just run through them real quick because I got a couple other questions I want to get to. 3 ways, and we need to know, and we want to know, and help people establish paternity for their children. It's so important for benefits, long-term benefits for that child to have paternity established. Not only the mental health to know, hey, this is my mom, this is my dad, these are my parents. It's very important to have paternity established, and we want to help you do it. If you don't have a child support order, if you're 2 parents who are unwed, and you want to have paternity established, a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity will help you do that, and we will help you do it. We will help you get set up with the family court. If you want genetic testing, just come and talk to us. Call us at our customer service numbers, and we will help you set that up. So the next question I have is, how do you track non-custodial parents working under the table to avoid paying their child support? That is one of the most difficult things we do or do here at Child Support. And I'll be honest, it's very hard to track people who are working under the table. And those are situations where, if there's continued non-payment, we really only have a couple outlets to pursue, and that's going into family court and having the family court address those situations with findings of contempt. And unfortunately, incarcerating non-custodial parents for continuing to work under the table is really the only alternative that's really out there for people who are really, and that goes to people who are refusing to pay because they want to work under the table and not find legitimate and honest employment so that we can issue wage withholding and they can pay their child support from their paycheck. The next question is, where can old closed TANF cases be found? So in the state of Delaware, old TANF cases, as time goes on, we have, records that go back quite some time, but, at a certain point, those records, get purged. And a lot of documents, sometimes we have records that are on microfiche that we have to actually, thread through a machine and try to find records. As time goes on, computer systems get updated, and sometimes older records get purged or get, deleted, and, after the requirement to hold those records no longer exist. I can only speak for the Child Support Office that we very rarely have records after the child has emancipated, which is in the state of Delaware, a child can emancipate at age 18 or graduates from high school, or at age 19, it would definitely revoke the current support obligation. Once those child support arrearages have been paid off or no longer exist, we only hold those records maybe another 5 to 10 years after the child emancipates. So if the person is looking for TANF records or old public assistance records, that's really a question for the Division of Social Services, as they may have their own retention schedules and schedules that I'm not necessarily aware of. Those are two questions that I've received. Let's see here. If a case is revoked, why is the other parent not notified? If a license is revoked, I'm sorry, why isn't the other parent notified versus just the letter of intent? So let me just make sure I cover all of the bases. If the license is suspended, the non-custodial parent will receive a letter from the licensing agency that their license has been suspended. If the license has been revoked, we don't revoke licenses here for non-payment of child support. We only suspend. So if the license has been revoked, my suggestion would be to talk to the licensing agency about why that license has been revoked. We will send the custodial parent a letter when we've taken the action, but the non-custodial parent should get a letter from the licensing agency related to it being suspended from them. Here's another question. When we send the suspension is when we notify, when the CPA is notified. Yeah, so when we send the licensing agency the notification that we are going to suspend, that's when the client or our custodial parent will receive a letter that we're going to take that action against the licenses that the non-custodial parent holds. So that's all that. So what I would like to do, I see that it's a couple minutes after 1 hour. Yes, what I would like to do is, if there's outstanding questions, we will respond to those questions through our Facebook page to make sure that we've covered anyone who's gotten a question in that we couldn't answer. And I can certainly, I just want to look real quick to see if there's anything I can answer real quick. Let's see here. One question is, so if I was told I was on TANF during a time when I know I wasn't there, no proof because the records have been deleted. Again, that's certainly a record that the Division of Social Services would have. If they're saying you were on TANF during a certain time period, I would certainly check with them. Again, there's certain questions I'm not able to answer. Ultimately, we keep records for a certain amount of time, and they maintain those records also. What we'll do is we'll try to answer any outstanding questions that remain, and I can certainly try to reach out to my colleagues and my co-workers at the Division of Social Services and see if I can get an answer to that question. I will certainly provide an answer to you through our Facebook page so that everyone can potentially have their questions answered. So what I would like to do before I conclude is provide you one last time with our contact numbers, and then we'll conclude. In Newcastle, the number is 302-577-7171. In Kent County, it's area code 302-739-8299. And in Sussex County, obviously 302-856-5386. And as I conclude, again, I certainly want to wish everyone well, and please stay safe. Continue to follow the coronavirus courtesies, social distance, wear a mask when in public, wash your hands. Please stay safe. Let's really try to keep all of us safe, and please take care. And if we can be of help to you at the Child Support Office, please certainly feel free to reach out to us. And we're going to do this again in the very near future, and I've got some other ideas about how we can reach out to custodial and non-custodial parents maybe separately and really kind of work on outreach to our clients. So thank you very much for participating in this Facebook Live, and again, we really hope that you've gotten some valuable information from it. Thank you, and take care.
Yes.